What if you could stop working in your 40s, your 30s, or even sooner? Not by winning the lottery, but by following a simple math formula thousands of regular people are using right now. It is called the FIRE strategy, and today you will understand it completely. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. It is a movement built on one powerful idea. If you save and invest aggressively, you can build enough wealth to live off your investments and make work optional, far ahead of schedule. Let us define the goal clearly. Financial independence means your investments generate enough income to cover your living expenses, forever, without you needing a paycheck. At that point, you work because you want to, not because you have to. This is not about being lazy or never working again. Many people who reach FIRE keep working on passion projects. The difference is freedom. Your survival no longer depends on a job you might hate. That is the real prize. FIRE runs on one beautifully simple piece of math. To find out how much you need to retire, you take your yearly expenses and multiply them by 25. That total is your FIRE number, your finish line. So if you spend $40,000 a year, your FIRE number is $1 million. Spend $30,000 and you need $750,000. Lower your expenses and your finish line moves dramatically closer. That is the secret lever. Where does multiplying by 25 come from? It is tied to the famous 4% rule. Research suggests that if you withdraw about 4% of your invested nest egg each year, it can last for decades without running out. 4% of your savings each year is the income your money produces. 25 times your expenses is simply the pile big enough that 4% of it covers a full year of your life. The two ideas are the same coin. This rule is a guideline, not a guarantee. Markets vary, and many in the FIRE community use a slightly more cautious number to be safe. But as a target, multiplying your expenses by 25 gives you a clear, powerful goal. Now here is the part that shocks people. The single biggest factor in how fast you reach FIRE is not your income. It is your savings rate, the percentage of your income that you keep and invest instead of spending. Think about it. If you save 10% of your income, it takes a very long time. But if you save 50%, you reach financial independence in roughly 17 years from zero. Save even more, and the timeline shrinks again. This is why FIRE works at many income levels. A high earner who spends everything stays trapped. A modest earner who saves half their income builds freedom. It is not about how much you make, it is about the gap you keep. So how do you actually do it? Step 1. Track your spending and calculate your real yearly expenses. You cannot find your FIRE number until you know exactly what your life costs. Awareness is always the first move. Step 2. Widen the gap between what you earn and what you spend. Cut the big costs ruthlessly, housing, transport, and food, while also working to grow your income. Every dollar of that gap is fuel for your freedom. Step 3. Invest that gap automatically into low-cost index funds, the same simple, diversified funds that quietly build most wealth. You are not picking hot stocks. You are consistently feeding a machine that grows on its own. Step 4. Protect the right accounts. Use tax-advantaged accounts like a 401k and a Roth IRA to shield your growth from taxes, so more of your money compounds for you instead of going to the tax man. FIRE is not one size fits all. There are flavors. Lean FIRE means retiring on a small, frugal budget, reaching the finish line faster by living simply. It is freedom for people happy with a minimalist life. Fat FIRE is the opposite. Building a much larger nest egg so you can retire early with a comfortable, even luxurious lifestyle. It takes longer and requires more, but you never have to pinch pennies in retirement. And Coast FIRE is a clever middle path. You invest aggressively early. Then, once your nest egg is big enough to grow into full retirement on its own, you stop adding to it and simply coast, working only to cover today's bills. Now let me be honest with you, because FIRE is not magic. Reaching it usually requires real sacrifice for years, a high savings rate, saying no to lifestyle inflation, and the discipline to keep investing while friends spend freely. It also carries risks. A bad market early in your retirement can strain your plan, healthcare and inflation must be accounted for, and life is unpredictable. That is why many build in a cushion rather than retiring on the bare minimum. An early retirement is not for everyone. Some people find purpose and identity in their work. The real goal of FIRE is not to quit your job. It is to reach the point where staying is a choice, not a cage. Let us make it concrete. Imagine you spend $40,000 a year, so your FIRE number is 1 million. You earn $60,000 and manage to save and invest half of it, $30,000 every year. At a roughly 50% savings rate, history suggests you could hit that $1 million finish line in around 17 years, even starting from nothing. Push your savings rate higher or grow your income, and that timeline shrinks even further. Let me steer you clear of traps. Mistake 1. Obsessing over cutting tiny expenses while ignoring the big three: housing, transportation, and food. Those large costs move your timeline far more than skipping a daily coffee ever will. Mistake 2. Forgetting to grow your income. There is a limit to how much you can cut, but almost no limit to how much you can earn. Raises, skills, and side income can supercharge your savings rate and your timeline. Mistake 3. Making yourself miserable to retire early. If you hate every day of the journey, you have missed the point. The aim is freedom and a life you love, not just suffering now to suffer less later. Let us lock it in. FIRE means building enough invested wealth that work becomes optional. Your FIRE number is your yearly expenses times 25, based on the 4% rule. Lower expenses pull that finish line closer. Your savings rate is the engine, far more important than your income. Track your spending, widen the gap, invest it in low-cost index funds inside tax-advantaged accounts, and choose the flavor of FIRE that fits the life you want. You do not have to retire at 30 for this to change your life. Even moving partway toward financial independence buys you options, security, and breathing room. Start widening that gap today, and watch how fast freedom gets closer. If this lit a fire under you, then smash that like button and subscribe for more simple money lessons, and be sure to share it with someone who dreams of escaping the 9-to-5 rat race. What is your FIRE number? Tell me down in the comments.